Welcome to Passionate Pioneers with Mike Biselli, where we highlight and speak with the innovators, the game changers, and the pioneers who are deeply passionate and relentless in solving the problems our world is facing today. This is your opportunity to connect with and learn from these leaders and to support them on their mission. Perhaps they will soon be hearing your story as well. This is Passionate Pioneers with Mike Biselli. I look forward to having you on this journey with us. Welcome back to the podcast and for spending a few moments with me. If you're plugging in for the first time, I'm glad you're here. Well, as we wind down the past 5 years, also known as 2020, I wanted to take a moment to share a few positive messages I recently received from many of you, our supporters and passionate fans of the podcast, especially as we continue to work toward and remain hopeful for a post-COVID world. Before sharing these messages from your fellow podcast community members, a bit of housekeeping. While listening to any of our episodes, please take a moment and visit passionatepioneers.com in order to share your feedback and ideas. Simply scroll to the comments section at the bottom of each posted episode. And lastly, please take a moment to subscribe to the podcast so you will automatically receive episode updates in your podcast player. Simply search Passionate Pioneers with Mike Biselli on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Well, let's face it, 2020 has been one of the most bizarre and trying years we have ever lived through. However, I believe there is a great opportunity to begin nurturing the multiple phoenixes buried in the ashes that COVID-19 has created. And it is due time to begin to help those phoenixes rise. So to that end, I'm excited to share some inspiring words of gratitude from a few of our community members after asking in our recent newsletter for our subscribers to send in some remarks. So quick side note, if you'd like to subscribe to our newsletter, simply scroll to the bottom of the episode notes and click on the link. Also in the episode notes, you will find the LinkedIn profiles for each community member we highlight so you can connect directly with them. So let's dive in. First off, we're going to highlight Felicity Dale. She's the Marketing and Enrollment Director for Dignity Health Global Education, based over in London, and she shared a few comments I'm fully on board with. She states, "The public respect and gratitude for healthcare workers have been re-energized, while the work and dedication of those professionals have always been awe-inspiring. The mammoth tasks they have accomplished and are still accomplishing now spark new discussions of what we can do to support the healthcare workforce." Felicity ends with, 2020 has pushed innovation forward in huge leaps, from the wide adoption of telehealth to the launch of a vaccine within a few months, to a new acceptance for online education that helps spread knowledge without boundaries. I'm excited to see the implications this will have in 2021 and moving forward. Collectively, the world has gotten into an innovation mindset, and it's going to bring us great results. Sam Taggart, the Chief Operating Officer at AdaptTrack, and one of our amazing partners we are fortunate to work with over at Olive, shared, "I'm grateful for all the frontline workers that made such unselfish sacrifices for the rest of us. I'm excited to be working with a great team at AdaptTrack to bring solutions to frontline healthcare providers to help reduce burnout and to bring balance to these amazing people." And Dr. Parker Houston, the clinical director of the On Our Sleeves program in partnership with Nationwide Children's Hospital in Columbus, Ohio, offered these words of encouragement. Dr. Houston states, "In 2020, I'm grateful that telemedicine has been forced to make a large leap forward and that this technology will continue to benefit patients long after the pandemic is gone. I'm also grateful for my family, friends, and colleagues who have given me so much support and inspiration this year. In 2021, I'm excited to see science come through despite the many roadblocks placed in its way to once again help solve a worldwide crisis. I'm also excited to see what innovations come out of this challenging time and how we integrate new technologies into our everyday life." Monica Stuchlik, clinical mental health counselor from Strength in Your Story Counseling Services, stated, "I am grateful that so many clients have garnered the isolation of this past year to focus on personal growth. I'm a clinical mental health therapist working holistically with those desiring to progress through anxiety, depression, trauma, and loss towards personal strength." And John Carter, director of the Risk Management Association Rocky Mountain Division, shared, 2021 can only be a transition year and offers the time to evaluate our choices of how we emerge from this pandemic globally. from the way in which we communicate physically and stylistically to revise supply chain methods in nearly every industry. I am ecstatic over the opportunity this pause creates because it allows us to reflect on the way in which we obtain and use resources to measure both environmental and economic impact in evaluation of our methods. The comparative pictures of the Venetian canals at the outset of the pandemic demonstrated the impact we have on our environment. We have a duty to be better stewards of our world and now have an amazing opportunity to revise our new normal and the impact we have. And Bart Hester, the Chief Revenue Officer for Telespine, offered words of encouragement about telehealth. He states, "I'm grateful that a positive side effect of the pandemic was a surge in virtual telemedicine for the average consumer in America. The COVID-19 experience left many people struggling with issues concerning the deferral of healthcare services. Clearly, the dramatic increase in virtual telemedicine care filled a large gap and opened the consumer's eyes to a new form of care that, while not replacing the need to see a healthcare provider as appropriate, allows sound medical care and counseling to be delivered in a virtual environment to address both physical and mental needs of many, many patients. Teladoc alone will exceed 10 million virtual visits with members in 2020, with an 80% growth in new registrants to their platform, a platform of which Telespine is a component. It would appear that telehealth's expansion in terms of its prevalence and role in our healthcare delivery is here to stay, and I look forward to continuing evolution of this component of our healthcare delivery in America." And Dr. Marcy Willer, founder and CEO of Clear Child Psychology, she shared a wonderful gratitude list with us. Here's her list. She's grateful for the evolution of telehealth this year and deeply thankful for our patients who entrusted us to help their kids with this new technology. She's also grateful for a team of dedicated technologists and clinicians who hold empathy and accessibility as their true north in all they do. Dr. Willard is excited in 2021 to see healing from the pandemic and a new landscape emerge from all we have learned in terms of the importance of maintaining our relationships and leveraging technology to get our jobs done safely. She's excited to see a major surge in AI technology to enable clinicians and families to collaborate efficiently and have ready answers at their fingertips. And lastly, she's always excited to see the entrepreneurs and startup ecosystem continue to innovate, burst through the barriers, and venture into the unknown. And lastly, it's fitting to end with Nick Doherty's comments. Nick is the managing director of Mass Challenge Health Tech based in Boston, and he shared these poignant and powerful words of encouragement. Nick states, "I'm grateful for those who charged in towards the problem without the need for praise or politics. I'm excited to rebuild a better world in 2021. So to each and every one of you, thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your work and continuing to move the health of our communities forward. And thank you for your support of this podcast. And I'm looking forward to highlighting even more of you in future episodes. But for now, be well, be safe, and let's remain hopeful for brighter days ahead as we continue to work together to move the health of our communities forward." Thank you for joining us today on Passionate Pioneers with Mike Biselli. We'd love to hear your feedback about the podcast so we can continue to improve this community and to further support the pioneers being featured. Lastly, please take a moment to subscribe to the podcast and invite your friends and colleagues to join us. This is Passionate Pioneers with Mike Biselli. I look forward to having you back with us during our next episode.